Oh boy.
We are live. Well, welcome everybody to our monthly vicious tie-off. And I'd like to just introduce the tires today and our producer. I'm Tom Rosenbauer, and I work for Orvis. And Davis James also works for Orvis. Davis is our producer and life coach. And Tim Flagler is if you're a fly tyer, you know Tim. Tim has some of the finest videos, fly tying videos on the interweb, and he has been doing this for a long time. And Cheech from Fly Fish Food, great fly shop. Cheech is also, between Cheech and Tim, you've got the two best, I think, video teachers on the internet. So I'm very honored and flattered to be here with these two awesome tires.
No pressure now, Tim.
Yeah, wow. Quite the introduction. Thank you, Tom.
And despite what you might hear in this tying session today, we're all good friends.
We kind of put it on pause for about.
Yeah, we put it on pause for this.
When I first signed my contract with Orvis, this multi-year deal that we signed to do this, I said, "What do you want out of me?" And they said, "You just need to talk trash to Tom and Tim." And I said, "You found your dude."
Yeah. And hopefully we'll renew your contract. Your check is in the mail, by the way.
Yeah. Last time it was like some 1996 Orvis 5X tippet that you said still was really strong. So
yeah. I got some more of that for you.
I got a coupon. I got a coupon for a back rub. I don't know where that came from. So
he
I don't know where the back rub is
one of those, but he didn't
either.
have a step ladder, so he had to back off.
Good one, Cheech.
Oh man.
All right, since Cheech knows nothing about coffin flies,
I don't.
Tim, you picked the fly? Do you want to talk about this fly?
Sure. And the reason I picked it is about a month ago. It was when it was my turn to pick the fly. I knew I was heading out to central Pennsylvania for some hosted travel, and that there'd be green drakes and the spinner version of the green drake, the coffin fly. And so we did hit them pretty well. Here's a picture of what. No,
well, here we go with the gadgets.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's not showing up, Joan. See if that's any better. Nope.
That's a coffin fly after dark.
Yeah.
That's what they look like after dark.
It was showing up a minute ago. Hold on.
Do we need to pull out the Jeopardy tunes again?
Is that a good joke where the coffin flies when all the lights go out and you see nothing?
Yeah. Well, we lost the coffin fly, it looks like.
This is Tim's video of him fishing mice on the White River in Arkansas. Oh.
And I don't want you guys to see my OnlyFans page, so
only flies.
Yeah, we don't want to see it either.
That's too bad.
That's too bad because it was a beautiful picture.
Why don't you hold your phone up to the camera?
Oh, hey, that's a good idea, Tom. Go caveman on this
coming
thing.
up with some technical solutions here. I think he gets extra points for that.
Here.
Sure.
We'll even do it on this one. So
And
it's
Tim definitely.
really, yeah, I lost on that one. So look at this bad boy. I think that's what they look like.
Oh, that shows up well.
Yeah. White body, clear wing, but dark. And again, we were seeing almost all of them hitting the water with their wings still up, and the trout just leaped on them. Absolutely leaped on them. It was kind of impressive to me how tall the wings were on these things, on the spinners. They look way bigger on the spinners than they did on the drakes. So that's the coffin fly.
And as I said in the write up to this, you may not have coffin flies in your area because it's limited to just certain streams in the east. Not all rivers have them, and you don't have it in the west. But you could use this same technique we're using for a brown drake spinner, a western green drake spinner. I don't think you want to tie this in really small. I guess you could tie this in smaller sizes, but the way we're going to tie it will be a good imitation of nearly any spinner.
Yeah, and I do basically the same thing for a nice Nikia spinner or done. They kind of have a longer abdomen than most flies and most insects, and so yeah, just a couple color changes and you're golden.
Yeah.
All right, and
really awesome. I agree with both of you.
Wow, that's unusual. And by the way, for those of you who are new or shy, if you have questions as we're tying, if you want to know the pattern description, it's on the Facebook and the YouTube write up. It's in the text. Maybe Davis can put it up on the screen. But if you have questions as to what we're tying or what we're doing, just put them in the comments, and Davis will put them on screen and read them out to us.
Yeah, and then at the end of the fly tying session, we'll put up a poll if you haven't seen one of these before, and you get to vote on who you think tied the best version of the fly. So no pressure on these fly tires here, and yeah, we should get started.
All right,
let's do it.
Jim, you pick, so you have to start.
Okay, I think I can do that. I just got to get camera turned on. I worry a little bit about overheating today is the issue around these parts. Let me just see if that's going to come up. Oh, let's go a little brighter. How about, there we go. One more. Wow. So there's that. I am going to be using, it's a 3X long hook, a Lightning Strike SN3, and this is in size 8. So nice long body, and I will get that secured in the jaws of my tying vise like that. Oof,
I see a question. Ed is missing Julia, who used to produce these. Julia has taken another job, Ed, at a local nonprofit, Hilding, in Manchester, Vermont. It's the home of Robert Todd Lincoln. So Julia's doing the PR and marketing for the Hilding.
Shout out to Julia. She's the bomb.
Go, Julia.
Yay, Julia. And Julia just had another baby. So
congrats.
All right, so there's the hook in the vise. I'm going to go with, this is UTC 140 in white for me. And I'm going to get the hook started almost like an eye length and a half back from the back edge of the hook eye. And that position's kind of where I want my wing post to go. Next in is moose body hair. Love moose body hair for tails. And you just snip a clump off, and then you remove the Rosenbauers.
What?
They're short and fuzzy. That was Cheech's. That was Cheech's. That wasn't mine.
You have been practicing that one for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I've told half the planet about that one.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I thought you were just going to say haters, and
yeah, no.
way better.
They're the Rosenbauers.
Tim, there's a question about advantages, disadvantages to using a straight eye or a down hook.
This one absolutely could be on a straight eye. I'm just very used to the down eye hooks at this point. This pattern I think could go either way. Really just a matter of personal preference.
Yeah, and I don't think it matters in hooking efficiency or anything either. It's so much there's very little difference.
I haven't had any difference either. I can't figure it out, and I think that the down eye is a lot more readily available in the longer sizes. So
yeah,
there are some like classic flies though that do look better with the round eye, and I can't even tell you why, but they just are made for it, sort of.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna measure hook shank length for the tail, then transfer that measurement rearward, and start anchoring the tail material. I'm going to pull up and toward me on the material, the hair, so it lands right on top of the hook shank. Gets a little bit of flare. This is the tail. I'll zoom out just a little bit. Is to me, it's not especially realistic. They do have dark tails, but it just helps to support this rather large fly on the water surface. So I like a somewhat ample tail on him. And should we move on to the next guy now?
Yeah, I think I should be able to go last since I don't know. I know the least about it. Just saying.
Okay, I'll go.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So as much as I hate to admit it, I'm going to use the same tailing material as Tim. Oops, I got to turn this other light on here.
Are you going to remove the Rosenbauers?
Yeah, I'm going to remove the Rosenbauers. So I get, like half dozen big ones. And then I remove the Rosenbauers. I might as well buy into that. And I stack them. I don't know if you need to, but they're not always totally lined up. So I stack them.
Tom, we got a question. Why moose body over CDL or Coq de Leon?
Well, it's stiffer. It's stiffer than CDL, and the coffin fly does have fairly dark tails.
Yeah, and they're kind of shaped more like the moose body hair than the taper and everything. The moose body hair looks more like the coffin fly tails than CDL does, in my opinion, anyway.
I think if we had moose body hair that was pared down small enough to use it on size 18 flies, that's what we'd use on our dry flies. So
yeah,
when it's a size 8 fly, the moose body hair really plays well. So that's why. And it's buoyant. They're hollow fibers. So win-win.
Now I'm using a different hook, a little bit longer shank than Tim. This is an Arex mayfly dry hook that I really like.
Is it like 4X, Tom, or what do you think?
I don't know. It's just long.
It looks long.
But I'm tying this in a size 10 instead of a 12 or instead of an 8.
Okay.
And I am using 8X or 8/0 thread that just came out of my bobbin, so I have to rethread it.
Power play.
Hopefully I don't have to go get my bobbin threader. Sorry about that, guys. Any questions to answer while I'm futzing around here?
I see a lot of comments about the Catskills kind of being blown out, which I've heard. A lot of water up there.
Yeah, they weren't when I was there. Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Uh-oh.
Wow. I wonder how you were able to do that.
Tom, just a little bit out of focus.
Oh, I can fix that.
There was one question about how about deer
How's that?
body hair?
Good.
For
Is that
this
better?
one?
Is that
good.
better?
Deer hair versus body hair, you said, Davis?
Yeah, somebody's asking about deer or elk body hair. I think probably for the tailing fibers.
Yeah, deer and elk flare a ton. So moose
Yeah.
is the least flary of those materials. So it'll stay relatively straight when you cinch it down, but deer and elk will definitely flare.
Yeah, unless you have a bunch of deer and elk in a clump, they also have a tendency to bend back where they're tied down and kind of get all wonky on you if they get messed up. The moose body hair is a little stiffer and tends to not bend, crease as much as the deer.
Now, I like to split my tails on this. The tails on a coffin fly are fairly widely spread, and it does help balance it. I don't know if you were going to do that or not, Tim, but what you do is you come up here on top, and you just kind of push them up, even them out. So you get about the same amount on each side. And then this is tough with hackle fibers, but you can just figure 8 this moose body hair, which is another reason for using it as opposed to, and then I'll sometimes even come around and gather them with a loop around there.
Dang, Gina.
Yeah, fancy, I know.
You're turning those tails into dang pigtails, my
Yeah. So that's what it's going to look like. So,
Cool.
Okay. And you can put a drop of super glue on there if you want, but I find that a couple tight turns of thread after you figure 8 them, they hold pretty well. And if you got one that you don't like, just cut it off.
A hater.
Sure you don't want a pottery tool to put in there?
I could go get it. No. Okay.
Yeah, do it.
I'm done.
You're done?
Yeah.
Is it my turn? Oh my goodness. There's one. Hey, I have a question. Is there any social media pages that have live tying sessions that I can join? I don't. There are quite a few live Instagram pages.
Oh, that you could actually join. Yeah. Interesting.
I don't know. There's a Facebook page that I started where you can share ideas and ask questions called Fly Tying with Uncle Cheech, but not a lot of people doing live stuff there. All right. Let's see. Oh, where's my... I'm going to start with this angle. I have a hair stacker, and I'm going to start with some moose body. Well, I guess I need to put some thread on the hook first, so I'll do that. I'm using 140 Denier thread, just like Tim, because that's probably the right size to use. No. And I'm just going to start it right here and wrap it all the way back to the bend, or to where it starts to bend. That's where I'm going to tie in my moose body hair. Yes, I'm doing the same thing. The hook that I'm using is actually a Tiemco 5212 size 8. It's a 2x long dry fly hook. So it's a light wire hook. And like these guys, we're just going to farm out a few fibers. That's way too many. And the Rosenbauers, I like it. We're going to get rid of those. So
are we rocking a new vise there, Cheech?
Yeah, I'm playing with this one, testing it out. I've been testing this one for about 8 months, but yeah, it's just a new vise on the market. It's the closest thing to the law vise.
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah, it's a real fun vise to tie on, but the Renzetti Master still will be my daily driver, but you got to try them out. So
yeah, and it comes in Tinky Winky purple too. So that's
exactly, because they said, Cheech, if we were going to make this vise for pros, what color would it need to be? And I said purple, and they said, all right, cool. And I said, give one to Tim, but not Tom. And they said, well, think about it. So anyway, that's how it went down. So I've got it like 7 or 8 of these fibers. I'm going to line them up in my stacker, and I'm going to just kind of do the same thing that these guys have done, where I'm going to look at how many I need. I'm going to peel off a few of these. I want my tail to be relatively sparse, just like that. So it's going to be about this long. So I'll tie my tail in right here, exactly where I want it. And then I'm going to pull these fibers up a little bit, and I'm just going to cheat my thread forward till I get to the part where I want the body to stop. And then I'll just tie these pieces of deer hair down or moose hair down, and then wrap back to my original tie-in point. That's just kind of my way of making sure that I tie it up to the spot where I want it. All right, get rid of those. Now, I too am going to do a split tail. I'm not going to do any of this rumble, figure eighting. I'm just going to get another strand. I'm going to do this with fluorescent yellow so you can see it, but this is a strand of fluorescent yellow 140 Denier. I'm just going to take my thumbnail and push it up like this, and then split those bad boys as close to right down the middle as I can. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of thread and bring it here like this behind the hook. And I'm just going to loop that over in between those. And the harder I pull, the more it spreads. So get it to the tension that I want. And we'll just get rid of that thread about right there. And bada bing, bada boom, we have a tail. Now, throughout the process of this fly, it's going to get pushed back. So I'm just going to kind of keep it pushed back and out of the way like that, and we'll fix it as soon as we're done with the fly. Anyway, that is all she wrote for that. We're good.
Super. I think I'm up. So next for me is going to be the wing post. And
What?
Yeah, I know.
What?
Weird. I'm making a parachute style fly, and wing post is, I'm kind of picky about this. It's just the regular polypropylene white floating yarn. It's stiffer than a lot of synthetic fibers, like stiffer than Trigger Point, EP Trigger Point, or the Falling Mill ultra dry yarn, and so to me makes a really good post. I already snipped a 3 card width segment. You can get by with 2, but I don't want to run short here, so I'll find the midpoint of that segment, make a little loop here. And again, I'm going to position my thread right back up to where I want that wing post to be. And then I just put the little loop right on top and take nice tight thread wraps rearward and snip the excess off at a shallow angle. And then I know you guys have seen me do this before, but it's the way I like to do parachutes. And I'm going to take the material, pull it up to vertical, and then give it a clockwise twist, heavy clockwise twist, as if I'm looking down on it.
Always clockwise. Always clockwise.
Always. And
never counterclockwise.
And then when I let go, it furls into a post.
Cute.
And so it has some stiffness. It keeps all those fibers contained, so you're not dealing with this wispy junk when you're trying to wrap hackle and all that stuff. And then I just snip it off. The other thing that's kind of cool about it is that the post is anchored on top of the hook shank in 2 places. So it doesn't really have the tendency to spin around the post the way a lot of posting techniques do. But that's the way I like to do it anyway. And why don't I stop there?
Why don't you do your next step? Because that's kind of a short one.
Okay. Next step is I will go to the Falling Mill ultra dry yarn. It has a little bit more sheen. It's kind of softer. It's just nice stuff. And I've snipped free. It's sort of stranded. So this is like 2 strands of it that I snipped free. I won't bore you with that part of it.
You already did, though, Tim.
I did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry. Oh, go ahead. Is that good? All right, so I've snipped it off. I'm going to anchor it. Take a bunch of wraps rearward like that. And then my first turn, because I want it to be a little skinny back here, I make it a flat wrap, but then I twist it clockwise as if you're looking down on it. And so when you twist it up, when you wrap it, it makes kind of natural segmentation.
So you said you were going to be old school on this fly, and I've yet to see old school. Okay.
Yeah, this is all new school to me.
This is all.
I said old school on the tools.
On the tools. Oh.
Oh, so no special tools.
The word
no special tools. Yes.
Semantics. How silly we were to believe that.
I like to hoard this stuff. I secure like plunger style hackle pliers.
Plunger style hackle pliers.
And that way,
not old school.
You don't lose it to your tying bench.
Nice.
And everything makes a nice segmented body. Looks pretty cool.
Huh.
And that's it. That's all I got. So by doing that, I don't really have to put in a rib because the segmentation is already there.
Very bulby and segmenty.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to be totally different.
Yes.
The first thing that I am going to do is to take a piece of, what is this? 270 denier thread. This is going to be my rib. And I throw a little wax on it just to keep it together. Little Overton's Wonder Wax. Just a light coat.
Are those tooth marks in your wax? Have you been eating it?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's good.
Oh, man.
And then I am going to
there it is.
Come forward.
I got the bug back.
And loop this thread over my tying thread. It's showing okay, yeah. And just take it back to the end. Now I'm going to take some hair. I like this hairline top flight dry fly dubbing. It's very fine in white. And I'll zoom out so you can see the dubbing. How did he do that, Tim?
That's remarkable, Tom.
Yeah.
Technology.
They're not going to tell Cheech about this, right?
Nope.
And then,
just
dubbing is really a matter of lots of pressure and light amounts. And of course, I start out with a small amount, so I build a little taper. And then I kind of... And unlike Tim, when Tim dubs, it's interesting. Tim wants all the fibers aligned. I find it dubs better when I fuzz them all up in different directions. I don't know why, but I find it grips better that way. So
I mean, I think both of you are right. Do I need to mediate this?
No, Tim and I always disagree on things.
Yeah. He once violently disagreed with me on something.
Violently.
Not vehemently, violently.
Violently.
Well, I meant vehemently.
Well, I'm not surprised either way.
It came out violently.
I know. Maybe I had a glass of wine.
Yeah, we got it all squared away, though.
Yeah.
I think.
So I'm just making... And you can control the taper by backing up a little bit, or if it's too thick, moving forward a little quicker. And surprisingly, it came out right without having to add any or take any. And then I'm going to take this thread and just twist it so that my first couple turns are smaller in diameter, or hopefully they will be.
Clockwise?
Oh, I don't know. Whatever. And then I let it untwist as I go forward to get that impression of, the segments getting bigger as they do on the natural. The natural is very strongly black barred, as Tim showed on his picture. Of course,
Yeah.
he didn't follow that.
Well, I'm not seeing any black bars on there, Tom. Just saying.
Really?
Yeah.
You must see different coffin flies than I do. Okay.
We could zoom in on my picture just for a second, maybe, Davis.
This would be great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at all those super lines
are.
on there. Yeah, they're just all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a
Green
good
Rosenbauer.
that's not a coffin fly. It must be something else.
Yeah. And those tails look pretty close together, too. I mean, that's just... Maybe it was the individual species.
You got it all bunged up on your hand. Of course the tails are.
Yeah, Tim, you freaking gnawed them off. You gnawed them off because you were hungry.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm overheating.
all right. Back to this one. I'm going to keep it pretty simple. The rib that I have chosen for this is some flex floss, just some black flex floss.
Oh, you're going to rib yours too.
Oh yeah, because in the recipe
that Tim gave us.
I need to look you in your eye, Tim. In the recipe there was
I know it said
rib. Okay.
There was a typo. It was supposed to say optional.
Let it be known.
Optional.
Let it be known that Tim is cheating.
Optional.
All right. Okay. Let's get back to it. All right. So I'm going to rib it as it said in the recipe from my good buddy Tim, who would never steer me wrong. Anyway, so we'll wrap this down and just kind of secure that. I'm going to put some flex on this, so I really want to make sure it's tight. And then my body is going to be dubbed out of light Hackle Beaver Plus dubbing. So
wow.
Nice.
Beaver dubbing with a little bit of antron, a little bit of sparkle, but it's gonna maybe absorb a tiny little bit of water and make it give it that milky color that I see in that abdomen. So who knows? Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but I'm just going to dub on some really fine dubbing noodleage.
I'm not laughing at you, Cheech. I'm laughing at the comments.
I didn't squish him. Come on.
No, not that. Further down.
Oh, I can't. Oh,
Are people making fun of Tim, hopefully?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, dang it.
A little bit off color there.
Oh, yeah. So
I missed it.
All right, so I'm just going to wrap my body forward, keeping it relatively slim You know, if you're seeing the same pictures that I'm seeing on these, they're not a real fat-bodied mayfly. And keep in mind, I will doctor up my tails when this is done. They'll want to sit out a little bit further.
Oh, no redoctoring.
Redoctoring, that's part of it. I don't say the fly's done until I say it's done. And it's going to require some doctoring, Mr. Rosenbauer. All right. So because I wrap my dubbing one direction, I'm going to make this rib the opposite direction. Sometimes when you dub your stuff on the hook, it leaves little gaps in it. So I'm going to reverse it the other way. You know what? It's not going to let me do that because of my tails. So change it.
Well, you can doctor your tails afterwards.
Yeah, I'm doctoring the tails afterward, but this is definitely going like this. So in order for me to make thin wraps behind, I just put more pressure on it. And as I come forward, I can make those bars much thicker if that's a thing we want to do. All right, so there we have a ribbed mayfly. See how I pulled that forward? I'm going to just replace that and tie this down. All right, so I'm going to leave this long on purpose because this is where I'm going to take a risk on this fly. You got to take risks to win these, boys. So the way that I'm going to build this fly is going to be in a hackle stacker. So
I knew it. I knew it. I could see it coming.
That is a risk.
So
Wow.
I'm going to.
I hate hackle stackers.
So do I. Just
I hate them.
Here's what I'm going to do.
Good for you, though, Cheech.
Yeah, good for you.
You know what? I love hackle stackers. I love
I hate them.
So I'm going to take this loop now and I'm going to place it back here. And I'm going to need a bunch of thread wraps here because I'm going to put some pressure on that. Anyway, that is where I'm going to end.
Wow. So is it my turn?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. This might be a very short step, actually. Let me get squared away here.
Well, then do 2 steps.
Okay, I'll do 2 steps. So I'm going to get rid of that. I don't need that anymore. For the what is it? The thorax of the fly. I'm using bug dub, hair and SLF. It's black, kind of the way it is on the natural, but this stuff has got like a little kind of bit of flash in it. It dubs well. I really like this stuff. And I'm going to align my fibers roughly parallel by carding.
Of course you are.
And then I'm going to rotate them 90 degrees.
Oh,
so
of course. Clockwise or counterclockwise?
When I extract them, they're kind of lined up with the tying thread. And then that way you have a whole ton of surface area. And you can make a very, very thin dubbing noodle if you want. But I don't really want a thin dubbing noodle here because it's a beefy thorax that I want, like on the naturals. And so that looks about right, I think. So nice noodle on my tying thread. Make sure that that's in focus. And then all I'm going to do is start taking wraps to first behind a little bit, make an extended thorax. Even with that dubbing noodle that size, I may even need just a little bit more dubbing. I always want to check. Yeah, I need, actually that's looking pretty good. And I'm going to come up and just take a single wrap just to keep my thread locked down there. I can pull that guy off and that guy off, or just leave them. Fuzzy little kind of sparkly, lifelike thorax on the fly. And so for the next step, let me get rid of all this junk. I am going to tie in my hackle, and this is a bar done commercial grade from Charlie Collins, Catskill grower, real natural looking stuff. And I've already prepared a feather that I took from that, measured it on my hackle gauge. It's a size 10, maybe a little bigger, maybe leaning towards an 8. And I've stripped off both sides of the stem. I have the shiny or front side facing me, and then taken a little more just off that top edge. And what I'm going to do is just rotate just a little bit here. And I want the hackle fibers to begin right at the base of the post. And then because I have so much structure from that furled post, I can really just go up and not, worry about it too much. And I've also got the stem built into there. So that's some structure. And then I just wind back down and just bend the excess stem down and snip it off. And so I'm ready to wrap my hackle, but I'll let you guys get a little further along.
Oh, we'll get further along.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I'm next, right? I am going to, forgot to grab my stuff. So for the post, where am I here? There it is. I have to turn this light off because the fan runs. So I'm going to use Fulling Mill Ultra Dry yarn, but for my post, not for the body. And I am going to take, if I can find my scissors. Oh, there they are. I'm going to take a piece. It comes in kind of strands, and I'm going to double that over like so.
You're going to use your...
And wow. I want to cover my shank with thread first, so I have a secure base. And then right about in the middle of that thorax area, I'm going to tie this in and figure eight it with very tight wraps. So again, it doesn't spin. And then I'm going to come up and, I have to zoom out for this because Tim is going to like this.
You should twist it up, and then see what you do is you fold it back over.
Look, Tim.
Oh boy, Rosenbauer tape.
What is?
So I'm gonna just twist it so it stays together. And Tim is right that those fuzzies tend to get in the way. So I'm just gonna put a piece of painter's tape up there, although it didn't go all the way around. And that's going to be cut off anyways, so I don't care.
Why not just?
And then I am going to put a little drop of super glue on the base to help stiffen it. And go around the base, starting right at the bottom. Flipping my bobbin around there. That's probably high enough. And then come down. Now I can actually cut off some of the stuff at the top that I don't need. And then I am going to select some long Grizzly hackles. And for this fly, I'm very particular about the feathers I use, and you need a fairly large cape, and you need to come up here in these what's often called spade feathers or tailing fibers on the side. You want them really long, and they're long and stiff, and I want them a little bit longer, so I'm going to try to find a couple with a little bit longer fibers.
Could I add that they've basically been bred out of the birds in favor
Yeah,
of
you have to get kind of
dry
an
fly hackle?
old-fashioned grizzly cape. This is a domestic cape, but it's more of an old-fashioned bird. And then I'm going to strip these together, line up the tips, and you can have a little web in here. So I'm going to just put them together and strip them evenly, like so. Cut them off, like so. And then I want the shiny sides facing me. No, yeah, I want the dull sides facing me. Hopefully these will flip over properly. And I'm going to start here in front of the eye and really reef on these. Of course, I got some super glue in there, and then just take one turn around the base to hold them upright, like so. Snip off those doodads there. And I guess I should zoom in. Should I do my thorax now, or do you want to do it on the next step?
I think you can just fish it like that.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Okay, so I'll stop there.
Well, actually, I have my thorax on, so.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'll put my thorax on.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use that same dubbing that I used, the super dry from Hairline, and I am not going to align my fibers. I'm going to anti-align my fibers. So
Rebel
they're
you.
going in all directions.
First, he's tying on a size 10 hook, and now this.
Yeah.
We went to Home Depot to get dang freaking fog painter's tape.
See how nicely that, when it's in all directions, how nicely that dubs? Oh.
It's just kind of fat in the middle, really.
Yeah, it just kind of clumps on there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Clumps on really well.
It's tight. It's not going to come apart, boys. It is not going to come apart.
Well,
Looks
yeah,
like a
just super
python that swallowed a pig.
Oh, come on. And then I'm going to wrap back over that body a little bit, get my thorax in there, fill that gap in there with dubbing. Come on.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Get him, Grizzly Hackle.
And
What's the
then
choice?
Go forward.
Oh,
I'm gonna
dull
need-
side down or up? Oh boy, that's a big one.
I'm going to need a little more dubbing.
If you don't have the shiny side down, you might as well just use white hackle because none of the color shows on that side if you wrap it with the pointy sides down. That's my opinion. So if you're putting Cree hackle on a parachute, you absolutely need to show a fish the color, which means shiny side down.
And I absolutely
I think the
disagree.
light shines through it, Cheech.
Yeah, and I disagree, Cheech, because on the natural insect, their legs point down like this. And when you jump out of a plane in a parachute, you can have the one that goes like this, okay?
I will do that, number one.
So-
And I'm a drone pilot, you need to know.
I am an FAA licensed drone pilot.
Yeah, but I have like the real skills, all right, Flagler.
Yeah.
So
See,
no,
I want the surface tension from all those little points to look like the feet on the natural insect.
Which is
And
great
that's
because you'll never need to buy another color hackle in your life. Just get
Right.
white and grizzly, and it will look just like everything else.
All right, Bickersons, stop. Let's move on here.
yeah, all right.
I think Jay Lee and I have gone over that one on Uncle Cheech. Jay's a real good fly tire. He is.
He's excellent. Okay, who's up? Cheech?
I am up. Let me just change mine. Sorry we bogarted the last segment, but frankly, Rosenbauer, you took way too long, so we got a little heated when we were talking about Hackle.
Oh, I was boring you. I'm sorry.
No, just kidding.
No.
We're just getting in your head. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tie in my hackle. I have farmed out 2 larger pieces of hackle, also from a rooster cape. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie them in here both, right side by side, and really crank down on those stems. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this portion of the Spanflex and put my finger in it, and that's going to be the post that I use to make this hackle stacker. So it's going to look super messy when I first start, because
And when you finish.
And when I finish, yeah.
So are we cup side up or cup side? You lost me.
Well, that's the thing on a hackle stacker. You don't have to choose because it's both. This is just a
Okay.
porcupine hedge worth of hackle. And it's going to go over about like that. You don't need tons and tons, but I'm going to now wrap back down through itself. We're making a nice pillow of hackle.
What are you holding that with, Cheech?
Look at my finger.
Oh,
Back it
okay.
off, Rick. So
There you go. All right.
I'm using.
I got it.
This is finger dexterity. Here, let's see this. This will show you. So my fingers like this, and I'm using these fingers to wrap the hackle, right?
And the Spanflex really helps out with that because it's stretchy as opposed
stretchy.
to.
And here's what else is cool. So here
Flagler would have used a gallows parachute tool.
I would not. Never.
He would have used a damn crane from a construction site. Hey guys, I have this YouTube channel, and it would be great if you could come over about noon.
Really?
Okay, so here we have this. It's just got to be able to reach to the front of the fly about like that. Now, a lot of that won't be visible to the fish. We're still going to put like some spinner wings on this. So buckle up. But anyway, this is where, I got to tie my thorax on. But you see how I tied that off? I got all the fibers out of the way. If you deal with haters enough, you'll know how to get them to obey from the get-go. But before I do that too much, I'm actually going to create a base of thread, because when I tie my spinner wing in, I don't want it to have to slip down any real estate. All right, so nice taper there. I'm going to use ultra dry dub from Fulling Mill. So where Tim used the ultra dry yarn for the body, they actually make a dubbing where all the dry yarn is chopped up into pieces and mixed with other stuff. Floats great and it remains buggy. So there you go. You can see how nice and buggy that looks. And I am going to just wrap halfway up my thorax right here. And that is where I will end.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
All right.
You're going to burn it in the end.
One of you guys might want to.
So I guess I'm up. All right. I got to make a little adjustment here to my camera gear.
Oh,
just to the camera gear. It's okay. It's okay. So what I'm going to do is, before I wrap this hackle, I'm going to rotate my hook like that in the jaws of my tying vise. Okay. And so I basically have the shiny side facing me, if you will. Let me get focused because this is kind of important. Anyway, I am going to use some hackle pliers these little guys, which have just gotten to be my absolute favorite. They really grip.
Yeah, I
Hopefully.
like those as well.
Yeah, and they're super, super light. But I'm going to wrap, and I'm wrapping behind my tying thread, but you can see that bare part of the stem is what contacted the post first. That just makes it wrap correctly with the hackle points pointing down. The cup
Absolutely.
side, cup
my
side,
goodness.
cup side pointing down, just like on the
Absolutely.
naturals.
You know what else is pointing down? My freaking thumbs, both of them, right now.
Okay, and then I'm wrapping up the post rather
So you
than
have the
down.
haters on the top. I like it.
So, yeah, the haters are all up top, where it doesn't really matter for one, as far as I'm concerned. But what I'm going to do, you kind of have to be a little careful doing this, but we have a nice stiff post, so it's okay. And I'm going to whip finish right there on the post. And then hopefully I can cut my tying thread free here like that. And if you do have any haters that you want to get rid of,
Those were bothering me.
Those were bothering you, Tom? I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Super bad here too.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that you're taking those off of there, but we just see your hairy thumbs right now.
I am taking them off for the most part. Again, it just doesn't need to, they don't need to come off. And I always like to just double check to get the alignment of the post with the shank looking down that way. And you know what? I'm going to do a quick finish here, guys. Almost a quick finish. Yep, I'll get it. Just a second here. Zoom all the way in, get her focused. So there are the thread wraps on top, and just a little drop, one little drop of head cement on the thread wraps, and then that wicks down the post and locks the hackle stem to the post. Takes longer to get the needle back in the head cement, and then I just kind of ballpark and snip the post off. I'm going to go a little bit shorter than that. Give him a little haircut.
That's the Tropicana field cut, not Fenway Park for sure.
And then get my little brush out.
Oh, hey, there's a tool.
There's another.
There's a tool. Oh, this one's cool though. It's like a little mini switchblade. One of my favorites. You, of course, can use a dubbing needle.
In case you get approached by a bunch of untrimmed parachute flies in a dark alley sometime.
That's right.
And I'll comb you, and I'll comb you.
And if you guys noticed on the original, oh, it's not coming up again. Darn it. Anyway, there's a lot of black venation in the wings of these things. And so all I'm going to do is just real lightly, I fuzz that out just a little bit and just kind of lightly touch. And it kind of mimics that venation. Keep it real thin.
Oh, so you're tying an upright wing spinner. Ah.
Oh,
it's not a spinner. Oh, golly.
What do you mean it's not a spinner?
A
coffin fly.
Right, but they often return to the water with upright wings. That's what I was saying in the beginning. Well, it doesn't have to be a spinner.
Well, yes, it's a spinner by definition. A coffin fly is a spinner. It's not a dun. It's a spinner.
I'd like the viewers to know that
you're tying an upright wing
right now.
spinner.
Yes, and so I'm a Newton bitter. If you look at it, right, you have the upright wing, so it could be the dun, and so you can see it on the water. And if you look from the bottom, that's what looks like the spinner. Okay, not just the legs, but the spinner.
We'll accept it. It's
Will you accept it?
I think it'll work.
It's
Okay.
a spinner that just barely came back to the water, and in 5 minutes it's going to look like mine and Tom's fly, the way it should look. But that one will probably still work.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
But get your lighter ready, Flagler.
Why?
I don't know. All right.
I really
So-
want this to start working.
I am going to Davis.
Oh,
Thank you.
yes.
I
Upward
am
right.
going to do a more difficult step here. I'm going to tie a spent wing spinner. So, first thing I have to do, and I often will face the vise toward me when I do this, but it won't work so well for the photography. So,
I like the challenge.
I'm going to come up here with my thread to the top. Is that showing okay? Is that in focus? Yeah. And then since I have two hackles, I can't use hackle pliers really. And oh good, they're gonna do it properly. Dull side down.
Yes.
Might as well be white.
No. They're black and white on both sides, Cheech.
Yeah, but look at your fancy Cree hackle and tell me what they are on
Well, I
both
don't
sides.
have a Cree hackle on here.
I'm sending you one just because of that. This is beyond a joke.
You should probably send me one just to, cause.
All right. Sure. The next time I run into a few that need a new home, and then you can see that they're Grizzly on the backside. And we just missed Rosenbauer having one of those totally unravel.
Yeah, that's all right. I got it.
He got it back under control. I do like the painter's tape up there. I got to tell you, Tom, that's kind of digging that.
Telling you, can't tie without painter's tape, Tim.
Yeah, because those fibers would be catching hackle fibers otherwise.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And I'm going to take a couple of turns and then I'm going to hold on to this and reef on it. And take a couple more.
Where's he going to whip finish?
Like
Monkey
this.
see, monkey do.
No, like
Super
this.
glue. Yes, absolutely.
It's called fly tying, not fly gluing.
Oh wow, just the guy that's big.
You know, I've learned to embrace super glue. I used to be afraid of it because I stick my fingers together, but put some pressure on there and cut it off.
Like a scholar and a gentleman.
Now, I am not done yet. And this is going to be and I don't like my post very high because this is a spent spinner, so it's going to be fairly. But
Okay.
I'm going to try this. This is not. Oh shit. I gotta put my thread back on.
Oh my goodness.
What did I miss?
What did you do?
I wasn't done yet.
What else could you possibly put on there?
Oh, wait till you see. Wait till you see. All right.
Yeah,
I'm taking a real risk here, okay? I'm taking a real risk here, but I'm gonna do it because
What?
we're supposed to be having fun, right?
Oh, you're gonna split the hackle, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, this is definitely more spinnerish than the other one that we just saw. I won't mention who posted it, but
Yeah, this is
this
definitely,
is definitely a
spinnerish.
spinner.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get
I'm gonna
these about in equal bunches. This is really fussy.
You just
And
got a lot
I'm
of
going
haters
to
right here.
carefully go around the base of the wings with a fairly loose wrap. And then I'm going to come over on the other side. And this is really nasty trying to do this in front of the camera.
You're about to get it, though. I can see it in your eyes. Oh,
Maybe.
son.
Maybe. All right. Now I can super glue it. Living bejesus out of this.
Oh man! Don't put.
But I am not done yet with the super glue.
Well, we're not surprised at this point.
I don't remember reading that in any of your fly tying books, Tom.
No. Okay.
Super
This
glue
is
the
a
living
technique. This is a
bejesus out of
technique that I saw many years ago. I'm going to put some super glue at the base of these wings. It's a technique I saw in an English magazine many years ago for spinners, and I thought it was really cool. You take the super glue and you put it around the base of the wing, and then you take a pair of flat pliers and you spread it.
Wow, that's cool.
Interesting.
And you kind of
Provocative.
come in and grab that thread that went around there too. And then if I can get these and spread it. And then, of course, you got some haters that you can get rid of.
If you glue your finger to that fly, it's not going to come off.
No,
Ever.
it's got a lot of glue on it. All right. So, I mean, oops, I got some upright haters here.
Get them in the ground.
Get them in the ground. Okay. So, I mean, it looks like a spinner.
Yeah,
Very spinnery.
Looks like a coffin fly.
I like it.
a spent coffin
Okay.
fly.
You're up,
Nice.
Cheech.
Hey, Tom,
Very
Sean Brilliant's got a comment.
Sean Brilliant.
Green Drake is the adult, coffin fly is the spinner, right?
Yes.
Sean Brilliant, one and only.
Sean Brilliant. I'm
Yeah,
about to
the
go
answer
pick
is
up.
yes.
I'm about to go pick up my bamboo rod from Sean Brilliant. He's the Orvis bamboo rod maker.
Dude, we went in there and saw like the log book of all the bamboo rods that have gone
Yeah.
out. It's pretty
Yeah.
freaking amazing.
It's pretty cool.
You can see that online, right? They have a whole list. I believe I've looked it up before.
If
don't
Rosenbauer
know.
ever hands you a rod at the Orvis pond, don't take it because it's a rod that will break when you try to land a fish.
Ooh. Ooh.
All right. So let's get after it. My turn?
Yeah, I want to see this.
Okay. So I am going to put a spinner wing on this, and I'm going to make it out of just old EP fibers. I've pre-farmed it out. The reason I like to do a hackle stacker on my spinners is because I want the wing just to kind of barely touch the water. I don't want the fly to have to rely on the wing to float at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this And I'm just going to put that right.
It's totally different from what I thought you were going to do.
And I'm going to figure 8 this now. And
Does
I'm going
it
to
need some super glue?
Yeah, I'm going to tack it with a tiny bit of super glue.
So
where I'm
not
using
the only one to use
drop,
super glue.
I'm using drops of super glue, not pounds.
I don't know. It's a pretty big brush.
Oh yeah, I dabbed that off 4 or 5 times. And then I'm just going to cover the rest of this thorax with the black dub that I used before. Let's see here.
I think the brush was right next to the painter's tape at Home Depot.
Oh my goodness.
Tim, I'll send you some. I got a whole roll. It'll last me a lifetime.
I gotta send pre-Hackle, and you guys are sending like freaking little combs. All right. So here's what the fly looks like from the top angle. And to wrap these first few wraps, I'm just going to take that wing and gently tease it forward. And just like you guys, the haters are out in full force today.
Painter's tape.
So I'm just going to figure 8 this because, you know, we can do this without having to super glue it. Just saying. No offense. So there we have our dubbing through the wings. A little tiny bit more up to the eye, and then we'll work on getting this hackle where it should be. All right, now I can pull the wings back the other way, and we're going to finish that fly about right there. All right. Before I do that, I am going to try to find the black marker that I had here. I think I was playing with it. Fidgeting. Here it is. This is the one that I wrote up Tim with and then threw it across the room. All right, so I'm just going to color my white thread black now because I'm going to be pulling over some black fibers. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to kind of preen my hackle stacker fibers back and just pull the span flex forward and just catch that down loosely with 2 or 3 turns and then just pull that all forward. Okay, so that's how the hackle stacker is going to go in. And then once I pull that down tight, I can pull this all back and catch it down and make a really tight head right there. Okay. And this is all before I trim that life flex. So I'm going to come in here now.
Did you say we were supposed to be tying a Moorish mouse?
Oh, good one, Rosenbauer. Nice try. Okay.
Yeah, if there's ever a hedgehog hatch, I'll know what.
This is the Western version of the Eastern green drake.
Watch this, boys. Watch this. Watch and learn, might I say. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to now make the fly pretty. And I'm going to trim up some of these fibers that are on the very back of the hackle stacker to lift them off the water. All right, so now let's trim our spinner wings. So here we have the hackle stacker wing that is going to keep this fly afloat. But what the fish is going to see from underneath is a nice, just real sparse spinner wing. So I'm going to trim it about like that, but then you're going to splay it out and we're going to round those off just like mayfly wings. Don't you guys be doing that. Your flies are done, boys. You don't get to cheat and steal this one.
I have natural taper to my my wings, Cheech. I
Well, it
don't
made
need
a big
to trim.
difference that the concave side was down or up.
It was exactly the way it should have been.
Exactly how it should have been. I like it. So now, if I want to make those wings, what do you call it? Veiny? What's the fancy word you used for that, Tim?
Venation.
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 A nation
like
of
Spaination, but Venation. Venation.
Yeah, you make them. You can almost
that.
make them look like Grizzly Hackle.
Yeah.
But it just floats a lot better. So check that out. So there is your mayfly spinner. And as you saw in the first, those wings are extremely, extremely long. So it might seem like these wings are really long, but that's exactly how they should look. Now, as we talked about, this tail, let's repurpose this tail. If I can still see this. There we go. All right, so there is my version. Man, this tail does not want to stay split. All right, there's my version of a coffin fly.
Well, it looks pretty dang
Very
good.
nice. I like
Yeah.
it. I like
I
it.
like.
But
I
from
like
the
that.
bottom, you can see that there's really not, there's not any more bulk from this angle than the parachute.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
When you look at it from this angle, you could put a bunch of floating in that bad boy and get it to float. You could do a sparser head if you wanted, but
And
there
you
you
could
have
see it. You could see it well too
that
down the water.
is all she wrote from my side of things.
Cool. All right, Davis, shall we open up the?
Yeah, I'm gonna put
Open up-
the poll in the comments here, and then on Tim on your end and Flyfish Foodie, you guys also put the poll that I emailed you in the comments on your end as well.
Are you good with that, Joan?
Don't vote on the
Ish.
comments, folks. It won't.
Yeah, don't
work.
just put your winner in the comment. You actually have to click the link of the form that I just put in the chat.
Click the link.
Who said Sigma?
We need to kick Zane and Finn off of this next time. They have no reason to be here.
Boy, those guys are having fun.
Yeah, those guys, goodness gracious.
Yeah, I attempted to moderate, but they must have multiple emails.
Well, they need to. We will twist some arms for next time.
Yeah. Seem like
Let's
some
see.
Utah people.
Yeah, well, goodness. Yeah, we're all like this. Boom.
Make them equal size, Davis. There you go.
Oh,
Well,
so we got to zoom out.
It was
I'm
before.
getting crunched.
Yeah, just cut Tim off. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm getting crunched.
That's
Oh,
how-
there we go.
How is yours even going to float with just like 2 turns of hackle like that, Tim? Do you guys actually have current in the water over there?
Oh my gosh. There are like 8 turns on there.
Oh, yeah, sure.
See that? And with the hackle points down, that's just all the surface tension you need.
Yeah.
It's science, Cheech.
You know what would really make your fly better, Tim, is if you just impregnated the whole thing with super glue.
Yeah, that would make it real durable.
Coffin fly. Now I'm going to have to maybe figure out how to get out there and fish this.
Do not ever plan a trip around the green drake hatch.
Yeah,
No.
absolutely. I like
It's
I
like
said.
planning a trip around the salmon fly hatch.
Yeah, it's this past spring was really the very first. I mean, I've seen them, but it's the first like legit hatch I've ever hit.
Yeah.
And I was guiding. I wasn't even fishing it. So, anywho,
You know,
just-
I think
you just-
that every time I go for a drake hatch or some sort of hatch, it always ends up just being a caddisfly day. You know.
Yeah.
You know what? We need to trim. I'm gonna make a few. This is like the dog show where people are like trimming up their dogs before they take them in. And
Hey, no
No.
trimming during the voting.
oh, hey, there's no rule that said that. It didn't say that because
It's in your contract.
if the creator of this fly tying tie off didn't even tie a real spinner, then I think I'm afforded a few liberties.
wait, hold on a second, there, fellas. In the description of this fly, did it say anywhere? Did it say spinner?
Oh, is that the results, Davis?
Looks like someone won.
Cheech.
Cheech. Man, I'm not going to get the lighter though.
Congratulations, Cheech.
Congratulations, Cheech.
A good-looking fly.
Well, to be honest, this is just a grown-up version of a rusty spinner that I've been playing with lately. We just filmed it for a video, and it's a pretty killer way to do a little spinner. But
I do have a technical question on the tying of it, Cheech. How long do you like? How many wraps do you make with the hackle so when you fold it over, it's the correct length? It's not too long or too short.
Yeah, I should have explained that better, but as I'm tying, I'm pulling my finger over. As I go to the top of it, I'm pulling the hackle over, and you got to give yourself a little bit of room because it has to go over the hump of the thorax. But the other thing is, when you're doing it with Spanflex, it's very, very user friendly. Like you can pull it all the way up, and then there's a little bit of flex, so it always looks perfect.
Gotcha. Maybe I will give it another try then, because with thread, I've had a miserable time.
No, it 100% will change the game if you just use your top finger like I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it so you want to actually tie them.
And like Life Flex, Flexi Floss, Spanflex, all kind of the same, right?
Yeah, any of that stuff will do the thing for you.
All right. Excellent. Excellent.
All right. Well, the people have voted. People have voted 43% due to the fancy nature of the tying techniques. Cheech wins. And
what? He's not even from the East. That's he's never seen a coffin fly in his life.
About that then, Flagler?
I don't know.
How should you feel?
I feel pretty bad, actually.
You better get back to the vice. It would be motivation for you for next time. All right.
You gonna get your lighter out, Tim?
No, that's a fine fly. I'm gonna stick by it. I will tell you that this exact pattern just absolutely dominated on Spruce Creek with the coffin flies. So
how did it do in the tie off?
It did not do well in the tie off.
Just saying, because just questions, that come to my mind.
Yeah. I had to tie about 3 dozen of them in a couple hours because I wasn't expecting to actually hit a coffin fly hatch. But
I got nervous when
I hear there was a good pellet hatch too.
You've got the total wrong idea, Tom.
You know what?
You're gonna miss out big time, dude. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
I was getting nervous when you laid down that perfectly tapered body with the ultra dry. That looked pretty cool.
Yeah. It's that stuff for anybody, like, and it's got a little floaty something in it. They say they treat it with something, but
they say if you look on the back of the package, they say that the fibers are hollow.
Which how can something that small be hollow?
I'm right there. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But
it's cool stuff.
Not to make it.
How does that dubbing dub? Is that I haven't even tried it yet.
I love it. Like
really?
I do a parachute hare's ear with this dubbing, and you just do like Grizzly Hackle parachute with it, and it floats forever. It's great. One of my favorites. In fact, I made my own dubbing dispenser with it, and I even blended my own purple color out of the ultra dry yarn. I just chopped it and made my own.
Wow.
Muy cool.
Fancy. So it matches your vice. That's good, Cheech. I like it.
That also adds to the the umami of the death, or whatever the hell they call it these days.
Umami.
The feng shui.
All right. Well, guys, thank you. That was fun. Losing.
Great times, peeps.
Thank
you.
All
right, I'm going to end the stream. Thanks for everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Great comments.
Good
thanks
times.
for the entertainment, boys.
Yeah, send some cool weather this way.
Gen Z showing up big today in the comments.
Yeah.
We'll work on that.
And you know what I'm fishing, Tim, on Spruce Creek? A streamer.
The Cheech leech. That's a Cheech leech.
When